Despite episodes depicting Nick, Max Minghella, taking dark turns prior to his death, the show made an effort to recast him as a tragic and much more likable character as Season 6 of The Handmaid's Tale came to a close. Margaret Atwood's popular and increasingly relevant novel, which imagines an America controlled by a theonomic regime that forces pregnant women to become childbearing slaves, is adapted into the Hulu series. The Handmaid's Tale centers on June Osborne, played by Elizabeth Moss, who battles to escape Gilead despite being compelled to serve as a handmaid. June meets their driver, Nick Blaine, as she arrives at services for the Waterford family. The two fall in love as they attempt to escape the oppression of Gilead. But while June struggles to get out of Gilead, Nick rises through the command ranks and becomes commander. Desperate, he exchanges intelligence that costs June and the Mayday resistance a crucial operation. Nick resumes his duties after June ends their relationship, but he is assassinated along with the other Boston commanders. In the series' conclusion, Nick's name comes up during a final conversation between June and Serena Joy, Yvonne Strahovski, a former Gilead housewife. June merely says that Nick received what he deserved, while Serena expresses regret for his loss. Serena maintains, however, that Nick would have been at June's side until the very end if he had been aware of his options. June's husband Luke, O.T. Fagbonell, also talks about their connection, so Serena Joy isn't the only cast member that encourages June to have a more positive memory of her time with Nick. He asks her to keep in mind Nick and all the others who were important to her during her journey in their final goodbye before they part ways. It is evident that the episode aimed to portray Nick in a much more favorable light when combined with a montage of their better occasions with other friends and allies. The episode doesn't fully address the subject, even with Serena's and Luke's remarks and the montages. In addition to dedicating himself to June's cause and making every effort to atone for his sins, Nick's involvement in the Jezebel slaughter resulted in the deaths of other women as well as the revelation of the Mayday Resistance's plans to Gilead's leaders. Nick made an effort to convince June that what he was doing was for their benefit and assured her that he would transport her to Paris to escape the misery. Nick gives up on trying to assist the resistance after realizing that nothing will help him, refusing to help Rita, Amanda Brugel, and her family, and vowing to his wife that he will commit himself to Gilead, as June makes it apparent that their love is gone. His remarks to Joseph Lawrence, Bradley Whitford, that he chose Nick's persona because it prevented him from genuinely improving himself hence have real weight. Nick has frequently acted more in accordance with his own interests than with what is morally or ethically right. Before Gilead rises to power, he invests in the Sun's ophicists in the takeover and supports Jacob's objective in the hopes that his activities would earn him a better life in the new society. Although his position in Gilead may have forced him to take on the role of driver in public, his contribution to its ascent and rapid adoption into the eyes does demonstrate his allegiance because he was well aware of the type of regime he was aiding in the establishment. However, given the situation, one could argue that Nick was a simpler candidate to hire. His desire to leave the poverty his family had fallen into after his father and brother lost their jobs at a steel plant was one of the reasons he joined the Sons of Jacob. It seems that Nick adopts these roles and is prepared to commit evil as long as his loved ones are alive, especially when combined with his concern for June. Thank you for viewing, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.